Before I kick off this video, I wanted to let everyone know that I'll be hosting my very first giveaway. YUNZII sent me this SK71 keyboard to review, and at some point in this video, I'll be announcing how to enter and potentially win this keyboard, so stay tuned. Now, on with the video. The SK71 has received a lot of attention, mainly for its obscure layout that hasn't been reproduced, to my knowledge, on any other keyboard. The question is it an objectively good layout? Let's see. Inside the box, you're immediately greeted with the key mapping manual, which I highly recommend holding onto, for the sake of navigating this board. Then, there's this included braided USB-C cable. Love the color and the quality. It's not coiled or anything, obviously, but it feels like it can stand the test of time. Up next, we have these keycaps for Mac users. Personally, as a productivity-based Mac user, I really appreciate this touch, since Mac caps aren't the easiest to come by. And finally, aside from the keyboard, we have a Keycap Puller, which is deceivingly gentle with the keycaps, and the slightly harder to use switch puller, given this is a hot swappable board. Now, we can take a closer look at the keyboard, which is actually heavier and more premium feeling than I expected. First and foremost, I like how YUNZII/Keycool/Epomaker keeps their keyboards from scuffing within the box by wrapping them in this plastic. Once it's unwrapped, you'll notice the USB-C port is on the left side. Since it's not really tucked deep into the casing of the keyboard, your custom cables, for the most part, should be usable with this SK71. Now, looking at the angles and incline of the board, it's the typical 5-ish degree inclination this company seems to stick to, which I like as buyers know what to expect. With this particular model, I'd like to point out the thickness of the case, which is indicative of a higher quality manufacturing job. On the bottom, you see the 4 gray rubber soles, which work as expected, keeping the board grounded and as I left it. You can hear the solid sound of the thick plastic case as well. There's little to no flex, so overall, solid build quality at this price point. Moving on to the most unique feature of this keyboard, the layout. On the left side, you can automatically see the tab, caps lock, and shift keys are some random sizes specific to this model. On the right-hand side, things are looking even more different with the question mark and apostrophe and double quotes keys and a few more looking hard to reach. Here's a little demo of how you'd end up reaching those keys. Okay, so here's my little demo. This is very cool, yes, I agree. Remember to stay tuned for our giveaway rules to be announced, that's just my little reminder. So here I am playing around with typing and stuff, and at this point I tried to type the word there with the apostrophe, and I automatically get tripped up typing the wrong thing. Finally, I realized I had to hit FN and then get to the apostrophe. From there, still typing, and I made a mistake with the spelling of tilde, but to get to tilde, you hit FN shift, and it's located on the shared comma key, and you have to do some sort of finger gymnastics to hit that, and do the same for hitting the question mark. The single and double quotes also require a variation of the FN and shift pressing scenario. Right off the bat, it's hard, obviously, to deal with, but if you're someone who needs the compact layout and also really benefits from the number pad, then it could be worth taking the time to adjust. Moving on to the keycaps themselves, they are in sort of a cherry profile, so they're not varying heights according to the row. Rather, they are nice, even, comfortable, standard profile, unlike an SA or OEM profile keycap set, where the top rows keycaps have a bit more height to them. Again, we get a glimpse of the unique choice to throw in a number pad, and if a number pad is ideal for you, this could be your ideal keyboard. But if essay writing and things of that sort take precedent, you may want to hold off on this one. Taking a closer look at these dye-sublimated Pbt keycaps themselves, you'll notice that they are pure white, not an off-white or anything, and the legends are of a dark bluish color that are almost black, but not quite. They are nice and thick, indicating that they will make a desirable sound. Despite the cherry profile, I like how each cap still has a little cup-like shape for your fingers. One slight flaw that I noticed was that upon closer examination of about 2 or 3 keycaps, including this number 5, the legends are not as clear as they could be, and they appear a little smudged. This could be a result of the dye sublimation process, and it's not really noticeable, but it's something small to be wary of. In general though, these keycaps are high quality, as even though they're not double shot, the RGB shines around each keycap in a smooth sort of way, and there's no bleed through that I can detect, which is pretty impressive, especially for white keycaps. Moving on to the switches. They are actually optical switches rather than traditional mechanical switches, meaning they're slightly, almost unnoticeably faster than regular mechanical switches, which is what you would want, especially if you're a gamer. Now, to get to them, obviously you'd have to remove the keycaps, and I kind of wanted to do a comparison of these Gateron Blue optical switches to a traditional Gateron Blue switch. To take them apart, you just use a standard cherry switch opener, and upon opening them both, they seem to have pretty similar guts, if you will. The main difference that I can spot in the stem is that the optical switch, or the darker blue, lacks one small bump that the lighter blue, or regular, has, which is what I imagine allows for a much smoother clicky experience with the optical switches that are included on this keyboard. The springs of the optical blue switches are also lighter, as you can see on the left. Now, there's a bit of stem wobble, but nothing atrocious in my opinion. On the bottom, the traditional switches have the metal feet, which are required for their functionality, and I think it's nice that the optical switches don't actually have this, as with this hot swappable board, you don't have to worry about keeping those pins straight. The worst sounding part of this board, as with a lot of pre-assembled boards, is the spacebar and its stabilizers. You can feel and hear a lot of movement and rattle. So at this point, I decided to get a closer look at the bare bones of this board. And that starts with removing the keycaps. As I mentioned in the beginning, removing these keycaps is a lot easier than I thought with the provided Keycap Puller. With those removed, we get a view of all the switches. One thing to note is that there's a dedicated transparent space at the top of each switch that allows the RGB to shine through. The RGB of the keyboard is decent at this price point. It's not blinding, but it's bright enough and smooth enough for sure. I did attempt to unscrew the plate to get to the bare case, but these welded and covered portions attached to the plate disallowed me from doing so. Now onto the stabilizers. Right off the bat, you can see a lot of wiggling and rattling. The good thing is that it can be fixed with Band-Aid modding and lube along the sides for sure. From this bird's eye view, the lack of stability is even more apparent, but notice that the wires appear to be factory lubed, so they're smoother stock than they could be. With the switches back in the case, I think this angle highlights the high profile mounting of this board. I like the boat-like shape that carries all of the parts of the board. Nothing atypical, but still a design I can appreciate. Now, with everything back together, I wanted to point out your options when purchasing the board. There are two colorways you can choose from on Epomaker's website, being this red, white, and gray that I have, which I like a lot, and this darker gray and black and red, which can be cool if it fits your setup. Now, for the switches, you can choose from a variety of Gateron optical switches. Of course, yours comes down to your preference. Here's a quick rundown of the built-in RGB features. Hit FN and P to change the pattern, and FN and O to switch the colors. Unfortunately, if you want that double shot shine through with keycaps, I don't think that's possible for this board, as the layout is so unique that would be near impossible to find a replacement keycap set. But the fact that there's a shine around the keycaps with no bleed through should definitely make up for it. Now, this board is a fairly standard weight, coming in at around 1 pound 6.8 ounces. Not unexpectedly light or unexpectedly heavy for a board of this size, and this size would be just slightly wider than an Apple Magic Keyboard and just slightly less deep than an Apple Magic Keyboard. Now for the sound test. Alright, so before I wrap up with my final thoughts, I think it's time to announce how you can win this keyboard from me, sponsored by YUNZII. First and foremost, entering this giveaway is of no monetary cost to you. All you have to do is subscribe to this YouTube channel, like this video, and most importantly, comment down below with any words of encouragement or what you want to see on this channel, whether it be how to improve the quality of my videos, or a particular review or build or tutorial that you want to see next. And be sure to end your comment with a hashtag SK71 so I know you're participating in the giveaway. The most specific rules and regulations with regards to this giveaway can be found in the description box of this video. Now, for my final thoughts on this keyboard, it's just super unique. If you're willing to adjust to some of the keys' accessibility, or lack thereof, for the sake of owning something this different, or if you're some sort of programmer who can really benefit from the number pad, compact layout, and are not too concerned with typing fast as an avid essay writer would be, then this board is for you. Otherwise, if you want something easy to use right off of the bat, and spacing is not an issue, maybe go for something more mainstream. Keep in mind, the switches are optical, so your gaming performance may also be improved based on that fact. Overall though, this is a quality board, and if you do your research and understand its nuances, you'll not be disappointed by it at all. Thank you for watching this video, and be sure to subscribe for more keyboard related content.